So Valera was not the only Hearthstone mercenary that was actually data leaked. There is Medivh. Now Medivh looks really interesting, and I thought it would be fun to go look at his kit as well and see what we have in store for us when Medivh does get released. If you do not go see the Valera video and you want to see her kits, I will link it in the description down below. Would highly recommend you go check out Valera because she looks extremely strong, and I hope they release her rather soon. So let's go check out Medivh. And as always, if you enjoy this, subscribe and you look fantastic. So Medivh, if you don't know who Medivh is one of the more notorious mages in the Warcraft universe. We've actually seen him quite a bit in Hearthstone already. We had the Karazhan expansion, which was basically him hosting it. And we've seen him a couple times with a legendary card. Now, Medivh is pretty sick to have in Mercenaries because Medivh is supposed to be a very powerful mage. So let's see what his abilities look like. But before we get to that, let's look at what Medivh actually is. He is a caster. If you didn't get that from the blue, then, I mean, now you know. And this is his skins. I would imagine that this is probably going to be his base level skin because it looks the most plain compared to the other ones. But I will say they have done a really good job to kind of showcase Medivh. Now, we could get a couple things from just this image alone. Medivh is a legendary minion or mercenary, so 500 coins to craft Medivh, and a human. Now, human is really nice because we've seen a couple of the mercenaries not really have a tribe synergy in mercenaries already, but human is one of the more popular ones, right? We have Anduin, Tyrion, Varian. We have a bunch of human synergy here, so I would imagine that adding another human mage to the pile would make that synergistic comp just a little bit better. We'll have to wait and see what the abilities are though, but we'll get to it right now. So right now we have 3 Guardian Blast, deal 2 damage to an enemy, arcane combo, damage an adjacent enemy as well, and it's also an arcane ability. So pretty good combo to start off with. Obviously could fit into an arcane synergistic comp as well. Tyrande is one that comes to my mind. Millhouse with the scaling could also fit into this. Cool ability. Enchanted Raven, it looks like we're summoning something here. Rush, Battlecry, gain +1 attack for each arcane ability you've cast this game. And it's also a 1 cooldown. Now, at the moment, I don't think this is that strong. We also don't know the stats just from this ability. Hopefully they have it down below, but this will take some time. I think this is probably a pretty weak ability from what I've seen, but let's look at Arcane Rift. His last one, 8 speed, 2 cooldown, deal damage to an enemy, death blow, refresh this ability. So refreshing would mean in the sense that if you do end up killing someone, you get that ability next turn rather than like immediately you get to play it again the same turn. It's not like Ragnaros where it casts it again. You just have it available for the following turn. Now, this ability is a lot better than this one is, it seems like, because this is a finisher and you can probably guess if you're going to get the death blow. Death blow generally is not great, but if you're doing a huge density of damage, then it could be a really strong ability. So let's see what the upgrades are looking like for this, because this could be a potential very strong ability to have to finish off characters. Now, Guardian Blast starts off going from 2 to 4 to 8. I'm guessing that the full thing is not here yet. Based on the pattern that we're seeing, it probably stops at about 12 or 14. Regardless, it's probably going to be more than 10. So the question is 10 damage in AoE good enough? Probably. We also don't know if it's going to hit the other enemies as well, like both adjacent enemies. It's only going to be 1 at the moment. Hopefully we'll learn more information about them, but we could probably assume that either the equipment hits the other one or it increases the amount of damage done. So at the moment, the ability does look really, really strong. Enchanted Raven is just gain 1 attack, then we get 2 attack, 3 attack. So again, we don't have the full tier list yet. Maybe this is a really strong ability and I'm not giving it credit for, because if you do end up casting a lot of attack or a lot of abilities and getting a lot of attack, like gaining 3 attack for every arcane that you've casted can be rather insane. I'm not sure if this is going to be good enough. A lot of these summoning abilities aren't always fantastic because they do take a lot of time, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we have Arcane Rift going from 10, 15, 20. Now, 20 damage at the 3rd rank, I would imagine the cap here is probably about 30 based because it's going up in increments of 5. Same for this. We could probably just assume that this is going to go +5 for the max one. This one's a little bit more iffy because it goes to 2 to 4 to 8. Maybe it goes to 16 because it's following the pattern of doubling. But we can assume that the max here is going to be 30. The speed is still going to be 8 and the cooldown is going to be 2. This is a lot of damage. 30 damage is an insane against the protector that is 60. That is very, very powerful. So you definitely don't want to bring like Medivh out first. If we get Medivh, you want to bring him out kind of like Vol'jin, where you wait a couple turns and then Vol'jin is just stacked when he enters the arena. But so far the abilities are pretty good. I wish I knew the stats on this, but at the moment it's fine. We have the equipment: Arcane Tome, Guardian Blast deals 1 more damage. Raven's Talisman, Chanted Raven gains an additional +1 attack. And Atiesh, passive, after the smirk is damaged, summon a 3/3 Raven with Rush. Very interesting. So I can almost assume that the Raven that he's going to be summoning from this is probably going to be around a 3/3, if not a little bit better. I would imagine that you're not going to be using it to probably stay on board. It's probably just going to be 1 damage thing and then it's gone. So we could probably take a little bit more and kind of deduce what that Raven is actually going to be doing. But let's go look at the upgrades for the equipment. So Arcane Tome 2, Guardian Blast deals 2 more damage, all the way up to 4. So virtually we can imagine that this is going to do roughly around 20 damage with the full equipment. That's really good. That hits 2 people for an ability that does not have a cooldown. That's very strong. I mean, again, I don't know if we're going to see this go to both mini or adjacent mercenaries, but that could be a lot of damage. So pretty good ability, it seems like. Then we have the Raven Talisman. We're going all the way to +4. So realistically, if we see +5 as the cap, then +4, that's a lot of damage just from the Raven alone. So if you don't have a taunt to guard one of your mercenaries, they're taking an extreme amount of damage just from the Raven alone. Even if the stats of the Raven are just absolutely garbage, Medivh is gonna probably wreck someone. And then Atiesh, as we just saw, goes from a 3/3 to a 4/4 to a 5/5 to a 6/6. Now, something that's 6/6 with Rush every single time it's damaged is pretty great. Now, the thing is, I don't really understand is, like, if it has Rush, maybe someone can answer this in the comments down below, but if something has Rush, does it attack immediately it's summoned, or do you have to queue it the next ability? It's a little weird because you're not going to target the character in combat. So interesting. We'll have to wait and see. There's also a cool mechanic you could do with this is like hit your Medivh with one of your friendly mercenaries to summon that. But are you ever going to do that? Probably not. But yeah, that seems to be his full abilities. We can see his full stats down here. His max stats is going to be 3 and 55. Definitely one of the lower health totals. So you definitely don't want to bring him in early because he'll get one shot. But overall, Medivh is looking pretty cool. I'm very excited for him to enter. Both him and Valeera are looking super cool. So I'm excited to see who else they bring with this package. Maybe we'll get more information soon, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you ended up liking the video, make sure you subscribe. I want to be your Hearthstone Mercenaries guy. You look fantastic.